How's it going, everyone? Paracord Bullwhip's here, and today what we were doing is building a survival bullwhip in less than an hour, and the only tools you're actually going to need are a knife and a normal big lighter. So let's get started. Now really quick before we dive into this tutorial, there are a few things I would like to address before someone tries to address it in the comment section, and that is in a real survival situation, you really don't want to be spending your time and resources on something like an emergency bullwhip. Now obviously a majority of you guys watching this will not be in a survival situation, but just for those who are wondering, in a real emergency situation, a whip is probably something you wouldn't want to be spending limited time and resources on doing. So that being said, some of you guys might be wondering then, what's the point of this video? Well, the point is to kind of show you guys how to build kind of a whip with not too much time. Now it takes about an hour. You can get away with building some whips in about 15 minutes, but an hour isn't bad at all. And the amount of materials you're going to need are very, very limited. You only need 2, technically 3, and I'll show you what that is in a second. But you only need 2 tools, and it's very, very easy to do. So kind of showing you guys kind of a rough and tough way to build a whip. And that kind of leads to another question some people might ask. What can you use a bullwhip on? Because I've heard some people say, well, you can scare away animals. Maybe small animals, but I wouldn't put my life on a whip when it comes to something like a bear, especially a grizzly bear. Maybe a black bear, but grizzly bears, no. I just curl up in a ball and pray. That's your best option when you meet a grizzly bear. But black bears, I wouldn't have too much a problem with. But yeah, grizzlies, they're the worst. But anyways, let's get started on this tutorial. So the tools I've already stated before, you're going to need a run-of-the-mill lighter. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a normal lighter. And a knife. That's all you need for tools. Now as far as materials are concerned, you only need 2 materials. You can find the third one. The first material is paracord. You're going to need about 100 feet of it. Second material is about hockey tape. I don't know how much hockey tape you need, probably about 15 yards worth of it. This is 2 inches by 15 yards. At least it was 15 yards. I have 6 little ends of these. And you're going to need a stick. 1 foot long and about as thick as your finger. That's all you need. So let's get started and build this whip. So what you're going to want to do is open up your paracord. You can either rip it open or I'm just going to take the wrapping here and cut it. Being careful not to actually cut the cord. That would be bad. There we go. So now that we have this, what we're going to do is bust out our stick that has the wrapping on it. There we go. We're going to take our stick, set that down really quick. Now that we have our cord, what we're going to do is pull out probably about 1 foot of it, just like that. And we're going to cut that off. So now that we have 1 foot, we're going to do that about 3 times, but we're going to increase the length by 1 foot each time. So since we have 1 foot, we're going to do it by 2 feet roughly, and again that's roughly. And then 3 feet. I hate it when the paracord tangles up. So now that we got this, we're going to, there we go, just like that. Got really bright all of a sudden. But yeah, now the sun's going behind the cloud again. Okay, so now that we have our 3 pieces, we're going to take our stick, take our hockey tape, go around the end just like that, and we're going to wrap these 3 strands right at the core like that. And we're going to wrap it up with our tape, and this is not going to be a pretty whip. What we're going to do now is just kind of wrap up the until we get up to the second strand. So we have the first one, then the second, right where the second one ends, as you guys can see, that's where we're going to end the hockey tape. So I'm just going to wrap this up and I'll get back with you. So this is what it looks like when it's finished. I wrapped it all the way up until we got to the second piece of cord, and put a little bit of wrapping past it to help it taper a little bit better. Reinforce this area called the transition with a bit more tape, and then wrap this section right here with 1 layer of hockey tape. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this 5-foot section of parachute cord, and I'm actually going to take the end and I'm going to melt it right to the base of the whip. So there we go, I just melted it right there to the base of the whip. And what I'm literally going to do is wrap it like a spiral all the way up the length of the whip, just like that. You guys see that? I'm just going to keep on doing that. Make sure this cord doesn't get too tangled up right here. But I'm literally going to just wrap this section up just like that. It doesn't have to be tight. It just has to be a layer where all the paracord is touching with each other. There we go. So just keep on doing that, and I'll show you what happens when you run out of cord. So once you reach the end of it, what you're going to do is get another piece that's 5 feet long and take your lighter and you can singe it just like that. Singe it together and then press it. So you could make it anywhere 5, 10 feet, however long you're comfortable with. This is what 5 feet looks like. So for this, we're probably going to need about 15 feet roughly. 15 more feet maybe. It depends, but because it gets thinner as you go down. So I cut it in 5-foot increments just so there's no waste. But yeah, what you're going to do is take your lighter, singe these two, press them together, and then keep on wrapping. And I'll show you what that looks like. So there we go. I wrapped it all the way up. It took me about 20 minutes, but I wrapped it all the way up till we got to that end. So it spiraled even on that little piece of cord. And now I have some extra left. So what I'm going to do now is take my hockey tape once again, start here at the base, and wrap it up. Because this hockey tape acts as a protective skin. And now I'm going to wrap all the way up till we get a little bit past this little section right here. So I'm going to wrap it all the way up to about here one time. Then I'm going to enforce the transition with a bit more tape. So there we go. I just finished wrapping it all the way up and wrapped it up to about here. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take, I'm going to measure it about 1.5 feet roughly, about that long. And I'm just going to take my knife and just cut it, just like that. Now, if you have an extra piece like this, don't throw it away because we're actually going to use this. So keep this on standby. Trust me, it will be very important later on. We're not going to waste anything here. So now what we're going to do is do one more wrapping. What we're going to do is I'm going to cut a section about 10 feet long roughly, about 2 arm spans, even though I'm like around 6 feet tall, so I guess it's 12 feet for me if I do it. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it all the way up until we get to the tip like we did earlier. And that will be all. And I'll get back with you when I'm done wrapping it with the paracord. And I'll show you what that looks like. So one thing I just want to bring to your guys' attention, this took me about 2 minutes. One thing you guys can do is just turn the whip like that as you're winding it up. So what I have here is I have a section, I'm almost out of it, but I think I did it like not 20 feet, about, I want to say around 15 feet. And I'm just twisting it because if you do it like this, you're going to have problems with it looping up over here. So just take it and I guess you can just spin it. Make sure the whip doesn't kink up on you, but yeah, just do that. And just keep on, and when you run out, just singe it and keep on going until you get to the very end. So there we go, the whip is complete. Now the only thing left to do is cover it up in hockey tape to act as a protective skin, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. So there we go, our survival bullwhip is pretty much complete. Now the only thing left to do is to take what's left of here, and I'm going to measure it about that long, about 1.5 feet to 2 feet. And what I'm going to do is just boop, cut it just like that, and take my lighter and singe it once the wind stops. And we're going to make a cracker out of a piece of cord that we have left. That piece that I told you earlier to save, you can make a ton of crackers out of it, and you'll pretty much have a very good supply of it. But I'm going to make it out of this little piece that I just cut right here. So I'm going to singe it and show you guys how to make a cracker. So for the cracker, what you're going to want to do is take 2 strands right out of it, just like that. This is about 1 foot, and I'm going to take 2 of them just like this, and I'm going to tie a knot right on the tip of it, just like that. And now that we have the knot, we're going to take the other open ends, hold it in our teeth, and literally just twist it, and I'll show you what to do after that. So once it's all twisted up, take your teeth like this, just like that, and kind of undo it. Now this cracker is a bit small, and I prefer longer crackers because they cut through the air a bit easier, but for sake of, I don't know, for just sake of what we're doing now, I'm just going to make the cracker a bit short. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be fluffy enough to break the sound barrier when you go to throw the whip out. Now this is probably one of the worst crackers I've ever seen in my life, but hey, it's better than nothing. So the way that we'll attach it is we're going to take the cracker, unravel the end of it so it forms like a little eye, and then put that over the cord just like that. You guys see that against my orange shirt? So now what we're going to do is we're going to tie it by making a little loop and then putting it through the loop just like that. And you can adjust it to make it a bit smaller, just like that. So there we go, the whip is finished, and you guys will have to excuse me because my face is cold and my fingers are cold because it's like 20 something degrees out here, and I spent the last hour and a half out here, so I am freezing. But anyways, here's another demo of me test cracking it. So there you go, the Survival Bullwhip. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, and also check out my website, caliberwhips.com, and my eBay shop. Both links are in the description down below. There you can find some high quality bullwhips that I have for sale, much better than the thing that you just saw me build today. But anyways, be sure to click here to subscribe to this channel, and if you guys haven't checked out my secondary channel, be sure to click here to do so right now. And also, if you want to build a better, still not perfect bullwhip, be sure to check out my How to Build a Paracord Bullwhip Fast, Cheap, and Easy. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.